Alright guys, we're back and we're going to do a quick update on my Deadeye Wander build for 3.11 Harvest. I've made some really big but also expensive upgrades that has gotten me to around 42 million DPS. So we'll quickly go in game and talk about what upgrades carried me over the line. First, I have the best one that you could possibly have, barring some really good synthesized implicit with crit chance and in scaling lightning damage, but those bases cost a mirror already. So this is basically like the best, just normal implicit you could have. It's T1 cold divined, T1 lightning damage pretty well divined, T1 attack speed, T1 multi, and then the craft with the harvest enchant that gives you attack speed per 8 quality. And this works on a breakpoint system, which means you need to have a number divisible by 8 as your quality to hit for each 1% attack speed. So with 48%, we're getting exactly 6% attack speed. If you had 47, you'd only get 5%. So it would be 1% attack speed less. Cool. And then the next thing, a big hindrance of the build. And by the way, I'm not saying that the previous build was bad. I'm just saying if you have like 500x to spend to craft all this gear, this would be the optimal setup. So instead of having kinetic blast, like your clear skill in your gloves, we have a Essence of Horror helmet, so that it's a pseudo 5 link for our kinetic blast with a socketed gem, so 30% more elemental damage. And this helmet is perfect, except that the base isn't a lion's pelt. A lion's pelt item level 85 power siphon 2 projectiles don't exist, or at least I couldn't find any this late in the league. So I settled for a Ursine pelt, which is a few tiers down with evasion. But other than that, all the rolls are perfect. Perfect elemental damage from the Warlord's influence, perfect power charge, perfect life, Essence of Horror, perfect minus max res to nearby enemies, and then perfect crit multi. So this helmet is insane. If it was on a Lion's Pelt base, that'd be better, obviously. Or yeah, even any base better than Ursine belt would be better, just because you'd have more evasion. Next thing was the shield. In previous videos, instead of attack speed suffix here, I had fire resistance because my resist, I needed it, right, to be resist capped. But now that we're using rare gloves and rare boots, we could afford to get attack speed on here. And with a dex int shield, there's 2 attack suffixes. So you just remove add attack, I think 4 times on average to get tier 1. So this is nearly guaranteed. And the rest of these mods are really hard to get. Except for the craft, obviously, but yeah, this is a best in slot shield, best base, doesn't have 30% quality. I'll probably do 28% quality when I find time. And then for boots, we went for elusive on crit strike boots. And again, you've probably seen all these like tailwind boots, but we don't need tailwind because we're a Deadeye and we get it from gathering winds, right? So also I have T2 life here. I am sitting at 5,700 life now. So I'll probably fix this and get around 5750, something like that, 57 and a half. But other than that, T1 res, Tier 1 movement speed, and then we have abyssal sockets on both our gloves and our boots. And by the way, that's what makes these hard to craft, because you can't just put an abyssal socket on it and then start like chaos spamming or anything like that. You have to spam it with the abyssal socket, which costs like 50C per attempt. Yeah, and there's actually a smart trick with these boots. If you do hollow, pristine, dense in a 3-socket chaotic resonator, you have a 1 in 6 for hitting T1 movement speed. But that bumps your cost up to about 70C per click, and you have to click 6 times. And then after that, you have to see like what other good stats you get. So it is a process. But the reason we have elusive on crit strike is because that allows us to drop no witnesses, which is 3 passive points. So that mod on our boots has given us 3 passive points. And also it means we can have elusive up on boss kill. You can see that's elusive on crit strike, whereas this was elusive on kill. So we'd have to kill something to get elusive. So now we can potentially have it up during a boss because we crit, whereas we don't kill during a boss. And then in a map, yeah, we will have it up all the time. Yeah, and these also have resistances, which allowed us to take resist off our helmet and off our shield. And then we just have a really good belt here. I think I had this before, but just T1 flat, T1%, T1 wed, T2 fire res, I guess, T2 lightning, and T2 cold res. So yeah, just a defensive belt there. And then these gloves are actually GG perfect, +1 frenzy, tier 1 spell damage. Maybe intimidate from the hunter mod pool would be better than spell damage, but I haven't ran the numbers. It probably is better. But doing a double influence and getting both frenzy and intimidate, they both don't have tags, would be nearly impossible. So we settled for spell damage, tier 1 life, perfectly rolled, tier 1 cold, tier 1 attack speed as well. And you can't do Essence of Zeal for T0 attack speed because we need the Abyssal socket. You can't do Abyss and Essence if you have an influenced item because you can't fracture it. So that's what we're settling with. So these 3 pieces of gear you can't get independently. You need all 3 at once or none, because you have to swap over your clear skill to the helmet, and then you need to drop the passive points for elusive, and then you need to change the abyssal sockets from your bubonics to 1 each in each piece of gear. So yeah, the changing these 3 pieces of gear is more expensive than the entire build combined previously. So yeah, it is quite strenuous. And then I upgraded my amulet using Essence of Wrath, which gives you T0 flat lightning, and basically you just spam that until you get T1 crit multi. That's basically the only way, because it's cheaper than remove add crit, and then that will give you, all the rest are targetable. If you augment lightning, you have to remove add lightning a few times and hope you don't brick your flat attacks, or remove non-attacks add attack. There's a few ways to do it. Alright, sorry guys, there's a quick cut there because this dog right here was going crazy. I'm going to show you guys where you spend the 3 points from dropping no witnesses after getting elusive on crit strike. And you're going to want to spend them just on a jewel socket here, getting projectile damage. If you want more evasion, you could get the bigger one down here, but I prefer just having more damage, and then I just slot in like a decent searching eye jewel. I also got accuracy on it so that I don't need accuracy on my amulet, and I was able to get 2 res and crit multi for 3 suffix instead of having accuracy as a suffix. So yeah, just a quick disclaimer. Should you now be going for this iteration of the build instead of my previous videos? No. This is insanely expensive, and it adds minimal to the damage. I was already one-shotting bosses anyways. This is more just for just like quitting the league, and yeah, you should definitely be going for the Thunder Fist with the Bubonic Trail with Power Siphon +2 helmet without Essence of Horror or anything. That is still the best, like in terms of cost efficiency, and even just clearing content, it one-shots everything, so there's no reason to have more damage. And then speaking of that older build, I just posted a video. I'm not sure how many views it got, but I am doing crafting service. If you want to add me on Discord, I will craft the entire build, the build that clears maps really, really fast, like tier 16, and it kills bosses really, really fast. I will craft that build for you. It's around like 160x, because it does take me about 4 to 6 hours to craft it, and the gear is around 120x, so I'm charging like 10x per hour, and the gear costs. But you're basically just paying for my crafting knowledge of the build and my time as well. So if you want to add me on Discord, just PM me. I've done about 5 or I haven't written down here. I've done about 5 or 6 just crafting the build for people. And I've heard pretty like just positive reviews so far. And I also give you like the passive tree and some leveling tips as well. So if you guys are interested in just me crafting the whole build for you so you can get to playing it right away, like if you're re-rolling a character or you're just starting out a new character, just let me know. My Discord's in the description. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the quick video update. Awesome.